I have a big update on the iHeartRadio situation, and I'll share a little throwback story from last year of when I met Batman. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Okay, so it finally happened, and it happened way faster than I anticipated. As you guys, if you listened yesterday, then you know the announcement I made that the show will officially be part of the iHeartRadio app. It'll move under the banner of iHeartRadio, of Rock 105.3, of The Show Presents, of the show's podcast network. And like I said, it happened way faster than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be at least a week, but it could have been up to 8 weeks. But no, apparently when you got some muscle backing you up, things happen fast. You know what I'm saying? So the show, Super Dario World, is now officially under the banner of the show's podcast network, which means that you can find it in the iHeartRadio app. Just click The Show Presents Super Dario World in the podcast section. Or I tried it yesterday. I just typed in Super Dario World in the podcast section, and it showed up right there. It's got a new logo, a new everything. I think it looks great. Hopefully you enjoy the logo as well. It's a bit more cartoony than the other one, but I like it. It's more professional looking. It's got the whole logos right there. I like it. So it's now, you can find it there. It's super easy to find. If you can't find it there, you can always find it in the Rock 105.3 page. So just go to rock1053.com, click on the podcast tab. It'll show up right there. It's one of the podcasts that shows up there. If that's not enough, you can find it in the follow along with the show page. I will be updating every episode there. If that's not enough yet, I will put a link in my bio, in my Instagram, at Dario the Show. You can follow me there. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, hit me up there. It's the easiest way to contact me. Sometimes I miss some of the comments on because it's on so many platforms. Sometimes I miss some of the comments, so it's always easier for you to contact me directly through my Instagram. Anyway, there's a link in my bio, so I'm putting links everywhere. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys to transition with me. I will be doing SoundCloud and YouTube for a little bit, for at least the next week. This week, next week, I may finish up May. I still haven't decided. It all depends on how it goes. But I want to do it so that we all transfer into the iHeart page, and the iHeart app also loads it on iTunes. So it's not gonna be on the iTunes that it's in already. You have to go to The Show Presents Super Dario World and subscribe to the new one. However, it has not been approved yet, so you can't find it on iTunes. Honestly, this is all going to depend on how fast the new one gets approved on iTunes. That's when I'll slowly start to transition away from the other one. But I will keep you updated on all of that. And I will remind you before every single episode to make it as easy as possible, and so you're aware of all the options. But okay, quick question.
Where's the bat?
So there's a combination of things that led to this particular story. A part of it happened last year, and I'll get into that in a minute. But it all came down earlier this week when I did the podcast with the news of George Clooney giving advice to Ben Affleck on what to do with Batman. So for that podcast, P1 reached out, and he asked me the question, if you have a chance to write a movie script for any DC superhero, who would it be, and what direction would you go? And so, for those of you who don't know this, I studied TV, film, and new media, so I've written a few scripts. I consider myself more of a writer or creator than anything else. So, it was a very interesting question for me, because I love DC. I love its characters. I love that it's a darker world. I think it's fantastic. The only issue is that, film-wise, it hasn't quite gotten its act together yet. It has a few good ones, but it hasn't gotten its act together yet. Animated-wise, animated movies are fantastic. I recommend. DC kicks Marvel's ass in the animated sector easily. It's not even a competition. But it needs to get its act together in live action. So my answer was that if I had a dream opportunity to write wherever I wanted, I would like to create a universe, a Batman universe that would build up to Batman Hush, which is my favorite Batman comic of all time. Batman Hush, for those of you who don't know the story, I'm not going to tell you the story, but pretty much a new enemy pops up, and he's messing with Batman, but he's doing it through other villains. So Everybody in that comic has all-star performances. Everybody and their mother makes an appearance in that comic, and they all have all-star performances. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. To me, it's the best Batman comic, but it needs a little bit of building up. You have to build up the Batman universe a little in order to reach the point where Hush would make sense for a wider audience. For those of us who know DC, it's easy. For those of us who know the Batman universe, it's an easy follow. But for a casual, I guess, that's how you would call it, a casual, it's a little bit harder. So if I had the dream opportunity, I would set up a few movies that would build up all the way to Batman Hush, and then maybe continue into Bruce Wayne Fugitive. I don't know. But the dream would be to do Batman Hush and start that universe from scratch. But if I had to do something with the universe as it is right now, I would go for either Kingdom Come or Flashpoint Paradox. So if I had to keep the same cast, same character, same universe already built, I would go with one of those two. And I mention them only because people have asked. So, okay. So those would be my picks. That would be the dream scenario. That was a question that was asked Tuesday, I think. Now, let's go back 1 year, or actually less than 1 year, because it happened Comic-Con of 2018. So it's less than, let's say, 10, 11 months? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, last year. So I was very lucky because I got to be a part of the iHeartMedia team that went and did a whole bunch of interviews with the cast of a whole bunch of shows and movies that were promoting their upcoming projects at Comic-Con. So I got very lucky. I got to meet a ton of people. It was a lot of fun. And in particular, there was one person that I was super excited to meet. Now, due to the nature of my work, for those of you who don't know, I work for Rock 105.3's The Morning Show, the show. And so through that show, I've gotten to meet a few celebrities, and through the Comic-Con thing, I've gotten to meet a few celebrities. And I try to be professional. I don't like making things weird for anybody. And to be honest, in all the years that I've been working here, I've only ever been starstruck twice. And it's super weird. For those of you who've ever been starstruck, it happens with the weirdest and most random people. The first one I remember, it was when Mick Foley, the wrestler, WWE legend, Mick Foley, Mankind, walked into studio, and I could not believe my eyes. I'm not the biggest wrestling fan in the world, but I did grow up watching wrestling. I enjoyed it. And he was a mountain of a man. I mean, he still is. He's still alive. Super nice guy, really chill. But I remember that my brain could not process that I was seeing Mankind in the flesh. He is a gigantic man. I'm a reasonably tall guy. I'm 6 feet tall. This dude was a mountain. And so looking at that guy who was at least a head taller than me, and remembering, oh my God, The Undertaker's at least a head taller than him. So I don't know what happens. I don't know what happened in my brain, but I remember feeling starstruck, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So you geek out a little. Fortunately, I am an implosive person, meaning that everything I deal with it internally. I don't do it externally, because otherwise I think I would have been fired. But so I managed to keep my cool. The second time that happened, it was weird. And by this point, again, it happened at Comic-Con. So I was very excited for the possibility of meeting a few people who I knew that I would have flipped out with. Like, I knew that I was going to interview the cast for a movie that Nathan Fillion was in, but he wasn't slated to appear, but there was a possibility, and I would have lost my shit if I would have gotten to meet Captain Malcolm Reynolds. Or also Mark Hamill, same thing. He voiced the Joker for a video game, and so I was excited for the possibility that he might be there. They never confirm. They confirm for certain things, but you never know. It was a possibility. But the person that for sure I knew I was going to meet, and I was very excited for it, Kevin Conroy, the original voice of Batman, the man who voices Batman in the Batman the Animated Series, which I grew up watching, so I was a huge fan. Him and Mark Hamill are the original voices of Batman and the Joker, respectively. So he was going to voice Batman for the video game, I believe it's DC Supervillains, Lego Supervillains. So he was going to, he voiced Batman there, and I was super excited to meet him. Again, I've already been a few years in the business. I knew how to keep my cool, and I had been in Comic-Con already interviewing people, some of them big celebrities, some of them smaller. So I felt like I was already good to go. I wasn't going to get starstruck. I was excited. It was probably the person who I was the biggest fan of there, but I was going to keep my cool. You know, you're there, you're set up, you're going to be a professional, you're going to ask professional questions, you're not going to geek out. That was my state of mind. When I got to meet him, and super nice guy, by the way, extremely nice guy, and we started doing the interview, things were going well. I was being professional, everything was going cool, and I was like, all right, this is great. Closer to the end of it, I asked him a question that I kind of blacked out. And by kind of blacked out, I mean I legit blacked out. I got so excited by his answer that I completely blacked out. And so what I asked was, if you could see Batman in any situation, what situation would you like? And he thought about it for a second, and then he said, Hush. I would love to see Hush. And I blacked out. I was so excited because, again, my favorite storyline, the one that I would love to make, live action, but whatever, but the one that I would love to make, Hush, was Batman told me that he would love to see Hush be made. So I blacked out with the excitement. And the reason why I say I blacked out is I don't remember this conversation. I don't remember this part of the conversation. I remember I got really excited by his answer, and then I geeked out a little. But I do not remember. The only reason I know that this happened, it's because it's on video. Like a few minutes later, I had to go with the camera guy and be like, dude, do you remember what I asked him? Because I remember I loved his answer. For the life of me, I can't remember what question I asked and what his answer was. He couldn't either. So both super professionals. So we went back to the tape and we started like, oh, that's right. Oh my God. Kevin Conroy, Batman, would love to do my favorite Batman story. Oh my God. So I geeked out hard. I know it makes me a huge loser. I don't care. I was super excited. I blacked out. Imagine, you know what? I don't even have to make an example. Imagine Batman saying that he wants to be on your favorite Batman storyline. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, so tying it up all together. So that happened a year ago. I got to meet the man, Kevin Conroy, who voices Batman, the legendary Kevin Conroy, and he said he would love to do my favorite Batman storyline. A few days ago, a P1 asked me, what storyline would you like to make? I said, Hush. I would like to see Batman and Hush, and if I could, I would like to write the story and build that universe. Well, that happened Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, as I was going through the news of the day, I saw this headline: a new enemy attacks the Dark Knight in the first Batman Hush trailer. I nearly lost my shit. You have no idea. I clicked on that thing so fast, man. You have no freaking idea. The Flash is a little bitch next to me. Holy shit. I was super excited. I have no idea how excited I was. I clicked on it. Turns out it's an animated version of it, which is fantastic. Like I said, DC's strength has been in the animated movies. If you haven't seen Flashpoint Paradox, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. So I saw it. I was super excited. And when I started going through the voice cast, I was like, is it Kevin Conroy? Is it Kevin Conroy? Was he just messing with me? Was he just teasing me? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I saw, and it's not Kevin Conroy. That's the only bummer. It's not Kevin Conroy voicing Batman. But it is another guy that I actually got to meet and at Comic-Con again. Now, the DC animated universe is kind of creating its own thing, its own storyline, and it's keeping the same cast. So it's been an evolving storyline all the way back since 2014. It started out with Justice League War, then Son of Batman, then Justice League Throne of Atlantis, then Batman versus Robin, then Batman Bad Blood, then Justice League versus the Teen Titans, then The Death of Superman, then Justice League Dark, then The Reign of the Superman, and now Batman Hush. So the point is, they've been developing this animated universe kind of quietly for a while now, and it's really good. Same cast, same everything. And while at Comic-Con, I got to meet them because they were promoting The Death of Superman. So the guy who's voicing Batman this time is a guy named Jason O'Mara. I don't know. I didn't say his name, honestly, because here's the trick. By the way, if you're ever in a situation where you have to interview somebody whose name you don't know, and if they're actors, some of them, they're the nicest dudes ever. Some of them can be kind of dicks. So what you do is you name them by their character's name. Honestly, that's the easiest solution. If their character has the easiest name, go for it. Just go after that, or just ask them like, oh, tell me about your character. You don't even introduce them. You just let them introduce themselves. So that was a trick that I learned there. I'm passing it along. Anyway, Jason O'Mara, super nice guy. He's voiced, I think, Batman 7-8 times now. So he's officially the new Batman in this universe. I also got to meet other characters going to be there. Jerry O'Connell, who you may know as Kangaroo Jack's dad. He's going to voice Superman in this movie. Rebecca Romaine, she voices Lois Lane. You might remember her as the original Mystique. And whose interview I think I bombed, by the way, because at that point, it was the first day, I think, and I was still getting my feet wet. So they gave me a few questions that they wanted me to ask, and I did not deviate from the questions, but she did not respond in a certain way, and I should have just jumped out of them, but I didn't, so I bombed. It was by far my worst interview, I think, and not because of her. It was because of me. I know I'm the one that fucked up, so I should have just gone with my gut and done my own thing like I did the rest of the freaking time at Comic-Con, because it's fucking Mystique, and she's voicing Lois Lane. I know enough of both of those things that I could have come up with a smarter question, but sometimes, it's you gotta fuck up in order to learn. It just sucks that Rebecca Romaine, if she does remember me, which I doubt, but if she does, she'll just remember me as the idiot who bombed her interview. It's so sad. It's really bad, but it was a learning experience, so what can you do? I just wish I would have learned with somebody else. Anyway, so there's a lot of people in the movie that already got to meet. So it was a combination of things. The news of Batman Hush was a mind-blowing thing for me in so many levels. For starters, because Kevin Conroy, the original Batman, said that's what he would like to see. I thought that it would be too difficult to make it in an animated movie, honestly, because the story's too complex. But if he said that he wanted to see that and he wanted to voice it, I got pumped. I got super pumped. Then I'll fast forward 1 year later to this week. A P1 asks me, what would I like to do? I answer Hush. And on Wednesday, turns out that the dudes that I met for The Death of Superman, which was pretty good, by the way, are also going to be voicing the characters in my favorite Batman storyline. I really lost it. I can't tell you how stoked I was. It was a culmination of things, and I know, I get it. I know. Does it make me a huge loser? Yes. Do I care? Fuck no. Why? Because it's fun stuff. It's exciting stuff. And now I'm doing the thing where you go back and you're like, did I ask him this? Did I ask him that? Were they playing coy? Why wouldn't they just say this? Because I did ask them about what's the future for these characters? Where do you see it going? What would you like to do? And so, I don't know. It's like I'm going back to it and like, maybe there was a hint there. Maybe there wasn't. So, I don't know. It was fun. It's fun to go to. It's my throwback story for the day, even though it's not that throwback. It was less than a year ago. But still, it had relevance with stuff right now. The news of Batman Hush. Watch the trailer, by the way. It looks really good. And watch the DC animated universe. Like I said, they've been quietly building something pretty fantastic. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I hated this sound. This is my first podcast on the Rock 105.3 site, and I hated it that it sounds like I'm just name dropping. I'm not. I was just excited, and it had relevance, and it ties up to me. I had firsthand encounters with these people, and I was excited to share it with you guys. So, hopefully, again, you enjoyed that. And tomorrow, I'm going to go see Detective... Well, the plan is that I'm going to go see Detective Pikachu today. So, I will be giving you spoiler-free thoughts on the movie, my spoiler-free thoughts, and I'll give you the top 3 things that I hope happen in the final episode of Game of Thrones, and the 3 things that I hope that don't happen in the final episode of Game of Thrones. As always, you can contact me at Dario the Show on Instagram. You can always contact me there with any comments, questions, or suggestions. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.